All right, welcome back to the next neural filter, which is the landscape mixer in the creative section. This is still in the beta stages, as you can see here. And to be frank, I'm not such a big fan of this because even though it does produce a fascinating result, it just makes it too loud a lot of times, okay? So let's quickly see what I'm trying to say here. So once you open this, you get a couple of sliders and then you get a couple of presets, okay? So one way of doing this is that you have this landscape image, you notice what the slider says, and then you just go about it in the manual way and you just add a bit of things. For example, let's not use the presets right now. Let's try to do this manually. Let's say I have this image, but maybe I want a golden hour look to it. That means I want to increase the sunset slider. So if I do that, it's just going to make the image, kind of fake a golden hour type of a shot by adding some warmth to the image. So you can see here, first time when you do it, it might just take a bit of time. It's processing it. And you can see, right, just added a bit of warmth. Obviously, if I increase it, that's pretty easy to understand. That's going to produce even a warmer looking thing. Now, it does change a lot, right? Even though, just think of this. I'm just asking, listen, just Photoshop, give me a bit of sunset. But it takes the liberty to actually change the image a lot. That's one of the reasons I'm not such a big fan of this, okay? Now, this can be, to some degree, corrected if you have this thing checked, which says preserve subject, and you can even select harmonize subject. What this is going to do is, you're basically telling Photoshop that, listen, keep the original white balance, the colors, the other things, and more importantly, the actual subject, keep them as close to the original image as possible. So if I was to do this now, can you see? Slightly better, but it still takes a bit of liberty to change some of the things, right? But it's going to be lesser with this. I'm just going to turn this off so that you do see the effects of these other sliders, okay? Now, so sunset is one. You can even turn this dayish scene into night. Okay, so you can kind of make the scene darker, and day will obviously do the opposite. Since I already clicked on the day, there's no need to use this particular slider. And again, be very conservative with these tools here. You can see it's just overall, it's just darkened this, and if I was to push this all the way, you can see that it really produces, it's capable of producing like a really, really dark scene also. Like this one. Okay, so again, it's going to work different for different images. I don't think I'm going to be using the night feature here. And similarly, you have some like seasonal kind of sliders, like is it summer, is it autumn, and all these things, okay? One of the things that really works well here is the winter slider. This is something I really like using. It's really cool. So let's say if I was to push it all the way up till here, you can experiment with the other things because I'm not going through each and everything. It's pretty easy to understand. It's a lot of fun when you do this on your own also. But yeah, winter is something I've used a lot because it really does work well and it doesn't distort the features too much, even though we had preserve subject off. Okay, so see the before and after. And that is pretty convincing, right? It really changes things. Look at the foreground. That is absolutely beautiful the way it's added that frost and all those things. Okay, so yeah, it can definitely work well. So that is one way that you do this manually. But let me just reset these things. If you want to be quick about it, okay, then you can also select just one of these. So you can select a preset and let's say, okay, yeah, you know what, I want things to be a bit greener here and I want this to have a bit of a sunset. Then yeah, this preset seems a good idea. So if I click this, it's going to just directly apply everything that you see here onto the image. But doing this, as you're going to see, can produce a considerable amount of changes. Like you're literally giving Photoshop a lot of liberty because right now the strength slider is at 100%. So wait for this to just process and you can see it literally changes the entire look of the image. Now, of course, you can control that from here, right? So let's say I want only half of this. So let's see. Yeah, so I think this kind of is slightly better, right? So it's not adding too much of greens. We've gone from this to this and this kind of looks, yeah, more realistic. Let's just try one more of these presets, okay? And then let's close this video because you can kind of see that it's pretty easy to understand, okay? So maybe we're going to go this time for a dry scene like this, okay? So see what it does. It's obviously going to get rid of the greens here because we don't have any greens. Yeah, So you can see here, right, it does produce that kind of a deserted look. So let's see the before and after, and this was just at 50% of the trend. So a lot of fun. Try a lot of things on your own. Also, if you have another reference image and you don't want to use a preset and you also don't want to go manually, then you can go to custom and you can select that particular image, and that is going to act very similar to what we did with makeup transfer. That means it's going to use your own custom image and it's going to transfer over the style over to your landscape shot. So I'll see you in the next neural filter. Bye for now.